Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm laughing right now because I'm going to do something a little scary, something that I've not seen on Booktube. I'm going to do a book review, a response book review. Not only a response to one particular booktuber who I respect and like very much, but a response to all the negative reviews that kept me kind of from reading this book. Now, let me just give you a little backstory. 4 years ago, when I was perusing around the internet and found Booktube, I was looking for mystery creators, mystery reader creators, mystery books. And I found a wonderful booktuber who is one of the biggest booktubers out there. Her name is Mara from Books Like Whoa, and she loved Agatha Christie, just like I do. And I watched almost every video that she made, and this particular review came from a book review she did of this book 6 years ago. And it's a very entertaining video, so I'm going to put it down in the description box. So what is the book? It's The Clocks by Agatha Christie. So when I started looking around Booktube for mystery creators, I found her right away. In fact, she has Patreons who just subscribed to her Patreon because of her Agatha Christie reviews. And she is super smart and just a wonderful, she deserves all the accolades that she gets. So, you know, I have nothing bad to say about her. She's, like I said, super smart. Anyway, not only her, but other booktubers that I became friends with when I started creating my little booktube channel had a lot of bad things to say about this book. Off the top of my head, my good friend, and I haven't seen her do many recent videos, Kevvie from Say Kevvie, hated this book. In fact, Mara from Books Like Whoa said that this was a worse book than a book that I read 2 years ago called Taken at the Flood. And I love Taken at the Flood too, so obviously we didn't have the same reaction to this book. Okay, so that's my response part of the video. And I'm going to tell you all the bad things that various people have said about this book. But let me give you the premise first. Okay, so we have Sheila. Sheila works as a stenographer for a secretarial service in London. And she's sent by her boss to this house, and she's told instructions to go to the house or to the sitting room next door if no one answers. And so she does this, and she rushes because she's late, and she, of course, finds a dead body in the house and goes screaming out of the house almost into the arms of our hero in this book, not Poirot, because this is marketed as a Poirot mystery. It says it right here, a Hercule Poirot mystery. But he's not in it a lot, and that's some of the flack that this book gets. He solves the mystery in a way without even being there or going to the scene of the crime. He's far away. So anyway, she goes and practically is in the arms of our hero, Colin Lamb, who's a marine biologist / Cold War spy, as Mara said, which is, she said, okay. So this is what happens. I should mention that there are many clocks in the house, ergo the title of the book, The Clocks. And they're all set an hour before the time that she gets there. one of the clocks says Rosemary on it. So we get a hint, or is it? So now and then the story goes on from there. And it takes place in this neighborhood of old mansions and very strange people living in these houses. And a lot of the action takes place around this neighborhood, which some reviewers did not like. And let me just tell you, and the story goes on from there, and Sir Colin Lamb, and I think I read that he's a nephew of Lieutenant Battle, who's in some of Agatha Christie's other books, but I kind of remembered the name, but I didn't really remember. I remembered Colin Lamb, that he was in a few books before, but I didn't really remember what books they were. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you, let's see if I forgot anything that is pertinent. Oh, a very pertinent thing. The house that she finds the dead body in, Sheila, belongs to a blind woman who went out shopping, which is was very interesting to me, because this blind woman gets around very well, and she turns out to be a teacher of Braille, and she goes to work and she goes out shopping the same time every day. So is she? Well, she's a suspect because she owns the house where the dead body is found. And of course, Sheila is a suspect because she finds the dead body, which, as every person who watches, who reads Agatha Christie or any other mystery knows, that the person who finds the body is a suspect. Okay, so now the setting, like I said, takes place mostly in this neighborhood of houses with gardens backed up against each other. Now we're going to get into what some people said, why they hated this book. And I'm just going to read random things. Like I said, I'm not going to say this person said this person said that. Now, the mystery itself, and I agree with this, is a little disjointed, maybe a lot disjointed. So I agree with that part. They said it was a bizarre mystery. It wasn't satisfying. That the premise was good. You know, a body found in a house with clocks all around, that it could have been done much better. They said that there's a lot of characters, that wasn't good. Somebody said that there was one clue that was easy to find out. I didn't see that, but yeah, that the whole mystery was hanging on that one clue. And they don't call me Sherlock in a bad way for nothing. I didn't know what that one clue was. And that goes into how I read mysteries, especially Agatha Christie. I read Agatha Christie mysteries just for Agatha Christie's way of telling a story and her way of surprising me with her mystery. So I'm not the kind of reader who tries to figure mysteries out. So maybe that's why I didn't dislike the book, but I don't think that's the reason, and I have my reasons to back my opinion up. So let me just go on to say that there are some things in this book that are a little bit this was written in 1964, and this book represents the time that it's written. And I was around in 1964, and you know, things didn't go the way they go now. There wasn't so much stranger danger, politically correctness, let's put it that way. This was 1964, you know. Anyway, that is what I'll say about what other people say about the book. So what do I say? I say I loved it. And why did I love it? Because Agatha Christie was having a wonderful time writing this book. And it shows in all of the little things that are in this book that were interests of hers. Let me just get to one part of the book that shows this. And it's on page 102. So there's like I said, there's a lot of characters in this book, but I don't agree that the person I'm going to talk about is named Bland, but the characters are not bland. They're very interesting to me. And so, of course, there's an investigation that goes on. Lieutenant Hardcastle, he's the lieutenant in charge of the mystery, even though Colin Lamb has a narration in it where he is working with Poirot. This video doesn't have spoilers, by the way. So they're talking about gardening because this person, so Hardcastle says, "Your neighbor tells me you're very fond of gardening," says Hardcastle. "Who told you that?" "Not Mrs. Ramsay. No, Mr. Bland." Angus McNaughton snorted. "Bland doesn't know what gardening means. Bedding out, that's all he does. Shoves in begonias and geraniums and lobelia edging. That's not what I call gardening. Might as well live in a public park. Are you interested in shrubs at all, Inspector? Of course, it's the wrong time of year now, but I've 1 or 2 shrubs here that you'll be surprised at my being able to grow. Shrubs that they say only do well in Devon and Cornwall." "I'm afraid I can't lay claim to be a practical gardener," said Hardcastle. McNaughton looked at him much as an artist looked at someone who says they know nothing of art, but they know what they like. So, if you read anything about Agatha Christie, she loved houses and she loved gardening. So when I read something like this, I realize that she's having fun. She's talking about something she likes to talk about. And it was very amusing to me. Something that made me just laugh out loud in this book. And I love unexpected humor in books. So there's a character, and the funny part is I couldn't find the character when I was looking up who this character was. No one said that she was part of this book. So I'm going to have to look it up again because I know what it said. So in Agatha Christie's The Clocks, the character Mrs. Croft says, and this is the line that made me crack up, "Gardening. It all comes to that in the end." And I just, for some reason, I thought that was really funny because we're talking about there's some older people in this book. One of the characters is a cat lady, and everything around that character is so funny and so true. If you know anybody who owns like 10 cats, but they can't control them, because how can you control a cat, really? And they like cats better than people, and I can understand that. But Agatha Christie, I don't think, thought much of those kind of people the way that this character is portrayed in the book. But let me just say that why I loved this book so much was that everything that I love about Agatha Christie was in this book. Yes, Poirot didn't take a big part in the solving of this crime, though he really did in the end with his little gray cells. But that's not what was so enjoyable about this book. And to prove my point, I'm going to put down the book and read you some of the quotes from this book that delighted me and might make you change your mind about the book if you've read it, or make you want to read it. The first one was very timely, I thought, without saying anything else. So somebody says, "When you've got it into your head that a fellow is a thoroughly good chap, it doesn't occur to you that he mightn't be." And I thought that was very wise of Agatha Christie. And another character says, one gets infected, it is true, by the style of a work that one has been reading. Another, well, there's a part of this book where where Colin Lamb goes to Hercule Poirot to tell him about this this crime. Now, Colin Lamb is also a Cold War spy, and he's doing another investigation. So this is a book where two investigations or two crimes are kind of intermingling, and a lot of people didn't like that. They thought both of these crimes or both of these stories were terrible. But I think it's much more interesting than that. Maybe there's a lot of coincidence in both of these stories, that they somehow mesh with each other at the end in some way, not in a big way, and maybe there's not a big reveal, or maybe the reveal is a lot of coincidences. But Agatha Christie, if she was one thing, she was fair, and there's always a way she makes for the reader to find out who the culprit was. And I have to say that I did figure out who the culprit was, not by any of, just by more of an intuition kind of thing, not by any of the clues, just by intuition alone. So there's a part of the book where, as I was saying, that Colin Lamb goes to visit Poirot, and he is talking about mystery books that he's been reading. And some of the mystery books are fictional and some aren't. Some are really books, are real mysteries. And this is something he's saying. The adventures of Sherlock Holmes, he murmured lovingly, and even uttered reverently the one word maître, means master. I looked it up in French. Sherlock Holmes, I asked. Oh, no, not Sherlock Holmes. It's the author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, that I salute. These tales of Sherlock Holmes are in reality far-fetched, full of fallacies and most artificially contrived. But the art of the writing, that is entirely different. The pleasure of the language, the creation above all of that magnificent character, Dr. Watson. That was indeed a triumph. And he goes on to talk about various authors of mysteries in the golden age of mystery, and even a little before that. And it's fascinating. He goes into authors that are in Agatha Christie's stories, and like Sherlock Holmes and others that make me want to read about read these mysteries. And I thought when he was saying that, I have to read more Sherlock Holmes. But it gives you, in my view, it gives you an inside look at the mind of Agatha Christie, the genius mind of the things that, what motivated her maybe to write mysteries in the first place. Another thing I liked, another quote that I liked, is just gives you an idea of the genius of Agatha Christie, not only talking about how she plots a mystery or how this mystery works, but just gems all over this book. And somebody says, "Don't worry," I said, "surely the most factious words in the English or any other language. Don't worry." I just love this book. So maybe I love the book not because of the mystery, but despite the conclusion of the mystery. I love the characters. There's even a romance in this book, a very light romance. There's also another character, a girl, who is a person who doesn't have any confidence in themselves, and that gets them in trouble in the end. There's so many minor characters in this book that were interesting, each one different from another. So I think that's all I'll have to say in my response video to Agatha Christie, The Clocks. But let me know, please let me know in the comments, have you read The Clocks? Does my review make you want to read The Clock? Or maybe you agree with other booktubers that it's a waste of time. Maybe it's my age speaking, but I found the setting, the neighborhood, the houses, the gardens, all very interesting. And even though that there's some things that wouldn't happen in our present time, I was thoroughly entertained, and I needed to be entertained in that week of my life that I was going through a lot, that I just needed to be distracted. And this is a great book to be distracted because there's so many characters. There's even a bookstore. There's even a bookstore with books all around, a bookstore owner, and a bookstore. I mean, this has everything. Maybe too much for you, but for me, The Clocks was just the right book. So thank you so much for watching, and believe me, I am not, this is only my opinion, and I respect every opinion of every book. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's some opinions that I don't agree with. But if you hated this book, believe me, I'm not mad. But anyway, I am going to have Mara's review of 6 years ago down below, because I think it was quite entertaining. And please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm having a very big week this week. My daughter's getting married in a week from tomorrow. My other daughter's coming on Sunday. I'm filming this on Friday. So yeah, wish me luck. I'm doing so much. But I just wanted to give you this review. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Aloha.